And we are back. Welcome back to Module 1, Part 2. Before we continue, I want to mention another trick that really helps me when I am writing to my customer, and that is to write down what I think they look like. So, for example, think of a friend you have who is in that age range, or a family member you have, and think about speaking to that person. What color is their hair? What color are their eyes? What kind of clothing do they wear? What do they drink? Do they drink coffee or tea? Do they like wine? If you can really create a great, how tall are they? Are they thin? Are they, a little bit sturdier around the middle? Think about who they are and write that down as well. And then you can paint a visual image for yourself of who you're speaking to. So let's get on to the 5 levels of customer awareness. Now, this is an advanced marketing and sales copywriting lesson. So if you have to watch it a few times, please go ahead. If you need to ask questions, please do go ahead. So there are 5 levels of customer awareness, right? There are really only 4 that pertain to our Amazon listings, especially if you're a private label seller. So there are different states, and it's the buying state that the person's in when they're looking for what they're going to buy, basically. So and this will make more sense as we go through. So customer awareness level 1 is when they go to Amazon, are they typing in a specific brand and they're just looking for the best price for that brand? For example, are they typing in the word Huggies? Are they typing in the word Kleenex? Are they typing, what are they looking for specifically? Are they looking for, a name brand that they know about and they're just looking for the best cost for the wholesale seller on Amazon? Then they're in customer awareness level 1. They already know they have a problem, right? Here's how we know this. They know they have a problem. They've sifted through all the solutions. And let's say they have feet problems. They know they want Samurai insoles, right? They don't want ABC insoles. I don't know if that's a brand, but they don't want ABC insoles. They don't want World's Coolest insoles. They want specifically Samurai insoles, and they're looking for the best price. So this is not going to pertain to you unless you have a really strong brand following or people who are shopping know your product name and they're searching for it specifically. So we're not going to focus a lot on that. Customer awareness level 2. They're looking for a specific product type. This is most of the people on Amazon, okay? They know they have a problem. They know they have an exact product type. They want to solve it. And they're just looking for that right product that checks off all the boxes and really shows them the transformation they're going to receive. So what we have to do is we have to answer all of their questions to show them that buying your product is the right solution and that your product type is the right solution. We have to reaffirm this. Okay, and we also need to make sure that they realize your product is the best choice amongst all those other solutions to solve their problem. For example, these people have already looked at getting a foot massage, they've looked at getting orthotics, they've looked at getting insoles, and they've looked at buying a foot massager. They've decided already to buy insoles. So they're going to that box at the top of Amazon and they're searching for foot insoles. They're then deciding which ones to click on. We have to position your product as number 1 in 2 ways. First of all is the one they should click on, and second of all, at the top of the page, either via sponsored ads or via organic bestseller rank, right? And then we need to position it, as number 1, of course, for solving that problem, showing it's the best. And we have to show how it's uniquely valuable. And we do that with a hypnotic anchor and speaking their language. And we'll get into that in a later module. Customer level 3. Several people fall into this. I would say about 25% of people fall into this category. 25% of the people who you're serving, your direct persona, is going to fall into this. They know they have a problem, sore feet, but they're still unsure if they should choose insoles or if they should get a foot massager or if they should buy custom orthotics or if they should buy like foot heating pads or a foot spa or, specific compression socks, whatever. There's a lot of different solutions to, the problem of sore feet, right? There's probably at least 100 I didn't even name there. So we have to answer all their questions to both show them that this is the type of solution they need. For example, if you're selling an insole, insoles are the best solution to solving your sore foot problem because, right? Why are insoles the best solution? Why are they the right solution? And why is it that our insoles are the best among all the similar products, right? The best among all of the other insoles. So you have to position your type of product as number one. Your type of product would be an insole. And then you have to position your specific product as number one for solving the problem. And you have to show them how it solves the problem in a unique and valuable way. And we'll talk about what that means in a later module. Level 4, they have a problem. They have no clue how to solve it. These are people who are going to Google, and we're not really going to focus very much on these people unless that's the only way they can find your product, because it's a new revolutionary thing, right? And it's a new problem that you're solving. So they're going to go to Google and they're going to say, whatever, Bing, Yahoo, how to cure sore feet after work, right? If you get lucky, your listing pops up at the top of Google. You only want to focus on customers at this awareness level if your product solves a very, very specific problem. For example, plantar fasciitis is one. And then include the questions they Google or ask Amazon search engine in your sales copy. So they might search for something like best sore foot remedy, right? At level 5, jaded. There are so many jaded customers on Amazon, and jaded, of course, means they don't want to believe that anything is going to work to solve their problem. But it's so great that they keep looking for a solution. Their problem is so big, they keep looking for a solution. So we need to use this to our advantage. So we can say something like, we guarantee this works even if you've tried X, Y, and Z. And, even if you've tried other insoles, even if you've tried, I wouldn't go as far as saying customer orthotics because it's medical. Even if you've tried, foot spas, even if you've tried foot rubs, even if you've tried hot foot cream, we can say, we guarantee this works even if you've tried whatever they've tried before because of, and then you're going to insert the hypnotic anchor technology. And we'll talk about how to do that later. But first, right now, all you need to focus on is which customer level is yours. If you don't know, target levels 2 and 5. Those are the easiest ones, okay? There's not that many people in level 3. On Amazon, they usually come to Amazon knowing what type of product they want to solve the problem because they've already read the blogs and they've read the groups on Facebook, they've read the pages, etc. So they know that they're looking for something specific, right? So focus on levels 2 and 5 if you need to. So we're going to go from demographics and psychographics and the 5 customer awareness levels to something that is way beyond what most sales copywriters do and far, far, far beyond any Amazon seller I've ever met. So we're going to go through what's called the 5 logical levels of NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming. And this is going to help us to look inside their brains, basically their subconscious mind, into their beliefs and their identity and what they feel they're capable of and what they feel needs to change in their environment so that they feel that your product is the best solution for all of those. Okay, so there's 5 logical levels. Level 1 is their belief in a higher power. Okay, do they believe, and you can go and find this out by going through forums or looking at Facebook groups that also talk about solving a similar problem to what your product solves. Do they believe that they have a higher power? If so, what is that higher power? So the reason we need to know this is because we need to figure out if they feel like they're in control of their life. So for example, do they believe that, God or some other godlike, entity controls their life? And that way we know we need to focus really hard on saying, this is really, really easy to use, right? Do they believe that the universe or, something within their control, that they're in control of their life, right? If that's the case, then we can focus more on a little bit less on how easy it is to use and a lot more on how they have the capability to use it, right? And you can go through these questions yourself as well, but that also goes along the belief of, do they believe they have a destiny already, or do they believe they have control over their own destiny? If they believe that they already have a destiny, then they're more likely to want to see that something is easy and a guarantee that it's going to work. If they believe that they have control over their own destiny, they're more likely to think, okay, well, is it possible for me to use this? Is it possible for me to learn this, to use this? Is this going to be the best solution for me? Or is there a better solution for me because I have control over my life, I have control over my pain, etc. I can fix this, right? So write down your answer. Remember, you're speaking just to one person right now. And if you've already used Facebook Audience Insights to see what else they're interested in, which hopefully by this point you should have, this might give you some indication as well. Identity. Identity is incredibly important. We will go to the ends of the earth and sacrifice our own lives to protect our identity. And that's what we believe about ourselves. And that's what we believe about what we want others to believe about us, right? So there's three parts to identity. What we believe, what they believe about themselves, right? Do they believe that they're a mom and they're a good mom and they make okay money and they're taking care of their families and, maybe they're a business owner. These things all fit into identity. Do they believe they're, Christian? They believe God takes care of them. Do they believe that they're, this goes into like anything they believe. Do they believe that it's possible to find a solution? We talked about jaded. What do they believe about themselves? Do they believe they're sexy? Do they believe they're at their ideal weight? Do they believe they could look better? Do they believe they look old? Do they believe that people judge them because they're in pain and they can't do these things? They can't go out and run or walk with their dog. They can't chase after their kids. What do they believe about themselves? Do they believe they're weak? Do they believe they're strong? The easiest way to think about this is if you were to walk up to this customer persona and say, tell me about yourself, they'll say, I am a, and then fill in the blank, right? And if you need to get a good example of this, ask yourself, tell me about yourself, and then write down I am a, write down all the things that you believe about yourself, right? Are you weak? Are you strong? All those things we just went over. And then what identity do they want to have? And that focuses more on what they want people to think about them, right? Do they want people to think they're sexy or happy, classy, ambitious, sweet, laid back? What personality traits do they want others to see in them? What do they want others to believe about them? And it is what we want others to believe about us, what others are thinking is always more important than what we think about ourselves. We've read through hundreds of studies that prove this, and we've seen it work every time in sales copy. So it's really more important to know what it is that they want to, how it is they want to be seen, so that we can paint that into that transformation, rather than how it is that they see themselves already, right? Okay, so we're going to answer some questions about our friend. Do they believe they're health conscious and gain pride from believing that others believe, of course, believing others believe they're health conscious, but while they are health conscious, they don't quite have the ripped abs they want, right? Let's say, you're pitching them a product to take them from where they are now to where they want to be. So you could pitch them a supplement, you could pitch them an ab roller. Most people think about it from that perspective, right? We're thinking about it backwards. So we're thinking about how does our product take them from where they are now, who they believe they are, and what they believe others think about them, to where they want to be, who they believe they want to be, and what they want others to think about them. And we're going to talk more about this shortly. Just as some examples here, do they believe they're an angry parent but they want to be seen as an awesome mom or dad? Do they believe that they're ugly because they're a teenager trying to get rid of acne and can't get a date, so that they can feel like other people think they're sexy and they can feel sexy so they can date that smoking hot guy? Are they feeling fat and they want to believe they're headed towards fit? Are they feeling other people think they're fat and because of that they're not getting the promotions or the attention they want, and they want to move towards fit because and the fit is the life transformation, right? So that the secondary piece is so they can attract that person, or so they can, get that job, or so they can make the right first impression. Think outside the box about who they are. Think about like people's pains, like what really hurts them, like what is it that would really trigger somebody to, yell at you, right? Or to never call you back and never speak to you again, and write those things down. Just as a side note, special note, when you speak to one person's identity, all those same one persons do begin jumping into your net, as well as other people who resonate with small parts of what you're saying in your listing. Those people will also come in. So by speaking to one person, you're actually going to attract more sales than you would if you're speaking to multiple people. Now, there is a slight exception to that, and we'll go into it more later, but the exception is if you have a multi-use product. For example, a nootropic brain supplement, the college student might purchase it because they want to perform better on their tests so they can get into a better grad school. The adult that's 54 to 65 is going to want to purchase it because they're forgetting their keys, they're forgetting grandkids' birthdays, etc. With foam rollers. If they're purchasing a foam roller, they might be purchasing it for pain management, or they might be purchasing it for cellulite reduction, or they might be purchasing it for working out, fitness, and weight loss, right? So those are multi-use products. You're still speaking to the same person. You're just creating 3 different transformations. Okay. So 2 important things. about beliefs, right? What do they believe about their reality? So this is relatively important, and this will become more clear when we actually write the sales copy together. But for right now, just take note of it. If you're selling it, let's say you're selling an anti-aging cream and they want results. For example, it diminishes fine lines, it reduces deep wrinkles, it gets rid of the waddle under your chin, it, lifts your eyebrows, it, tightens and firms around your eyes, etc., etc. They want those results, the transformation that it delivers, and they want people to, the transformation is really that they want to look younger and feel younger, and they want people to perceive them as younger. Ask yourself, what could make them not believe your product will work, right? So do they believe that their genetics, their mom always looked old, so, they'll always look old. So, what would stop this product from working for them? So genetics. So say, okay, it's genetics. So I have to say, even if you have, even if your mom and your grandma and your aunts, your sisters, your uncles, etc., whoever, looks old, this genetic defying product will XYZ. Right? We've proven that. And we'll go into the claim, no claim language pattern a little bit later. And you'll see how to actually word this so you don't tick off Amazon and you don't upset the FBA or, whatever powers that be in the country where you're residing. If you're selling anything and they believe they can get it for less money someplace else at the same quality, so they think they can get a better value someplace else for the same quality, you need to make sure that you target that and, target that belief and use words like don't fall for cheap knockoffs, or buying knockoffs will cost you more, or buying cheap products will cost you more, or buying a cheap, XYZ, whatever your product name is, will cost you more, right? Your product type. So the way we uncover these beliefs is we go and we troll and we spy on people in Facebook groups and on forums where your customers are very much open and honest, usually, especially in forums about seeking help. They feel very sheltered in forums. They feel safe and protected. So you can figure out what objections they have to products like yours, to product types like yours, and then write those down, right? And this is going to be part of your homework today to get this done. So NLP logical level number 4, capabilities. Okay, this is a huge one, and I see so many people overlooking this that I had to dig pretty deep into this. You could have the best, most amazing, best results delivering product in the world, but if your person believes, your friend believes they don't have what it takes to make it work and get results and get that transformation, they won't buy. And if you do talk them into buying without pointing out that they're capable of doing this and anybody can do this, it's kindergarten simple, etc., etc., if they do buy, they're going to be looking at that through a lens of this won't work anyway, which you really don't want, because that's how you get returns and bad reviews. People who are skeptical, which all of us are skeptical, people who are really jaded and who've been dealing with a problem for a very long time, don't often believe deep down that it's them that's causing the problem, that it's them that can't use the solution correctly because other people are getting results, but they can't seem to get results. We have to focus specifically on mentioning that they have what it takes to make your product work, or they won't buy, and if they do, you'll get returns and bad reviews, right? We don't want that. We want them to buy. We want good reviews for obvious reasons. So here's a good example of capabilities. Let's say that your customer is Abe. Abe is looking for a bike light, but Abe lacks technical skills. Abe can't put a hammer. He can't nail he doesn't even have the tools or the capabilities to nail a nail into the wall in the correct place to hang a picture. Okay. Not judging Abe, just saying that's who Abe is. Abe goes to Amazon. Abe narrows down his choices to this 2 different sleek looking bike lights, right? They're identical in every single way except the price. And I can tell you this because we tested this. I can tell you why this works because we've tested it. So let's say bike light A says nothing about how easy it is to install. They don't talk about how you just snap it on. They don't talk about, how you can easily pull it off. They don't talk about how your 5-year-old can install it. How it just clips on and it's very simple. It's like clicking a button on your VCR, your remote, right? It's that easy. But bike light A is less expensive. A lot of people have this misconception. A lot of sellers have this misconception that the less expensive product sells the most. That's not correct. Okay. The middle grade product usually sells the most. But let's say you go to bike light B. Bike light B is, let's say, $5 higher in cost. Let's say it's a $15 bike light. But bike light B focuses really big on mentioning how it's lickety split simple. There's no installation required. It's just snap it on or snap it on and go, snap it off, use it someplace else. Easily plugs into any USB rechargeable or any USB cord that you have around your house already for your cell phone. No tools required, no special skills required, right? Because of Abe's identity and his belief in his capabilities, he's going to pick B. He'd rather spend a lot more money than be frustrated and look like an idiot, right? Sorry, pardon me. He'd rather spend a lot more money and believe people are identifying him as an idiot. So let's look at the reverse scenario, because not everybody wants things to be easy. If for some reason, let's say you're selling a product to a hardcore prepper, who is someone who's preparing for either the end of a government system, civilization, a financial crash in the markets, et cetera, right? What if your friend has this core identity that I want to work hard and I want to build it myself? I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I want people to acknowledge that I've done this myself. I want people to acknowledge that there was a hard pathway to get here. You wouldn't pitch that to an Abe. You'd pitch it to a Sarah, okay? Sarah is a do-it-yourselfer who is someone who builds all her own stuff, assembles all her own things, can fix her own everything. She's got a full garage full of full tool chests, right? Sarah goes to Amazon. Sarah narrows down to two choices. Bike Light A is less expensive and mentions nothing about how easy or hard it will be to install, right? So you've got a $10 Bike Light that mentions nothing about how easy it is or how hard it is to install. And it doesn't talk about the pride of installation, the pride of seeing that you did it yourself, right? Because pride's a big one. Product B is more expensive. It's $15. Mentions how it's lickety-split simple, no installation required, just snap it on. Sarah's still going to pick product A because her identity is about not having things be easy, right? That always trumps her beliefs and capabilities. Identity always trumps beliefs, capabilities, environment. She believes she's capable. She's a capable person. She can build a boat if she wanted to. Maybe she really can't build a boat, but she wants other people to believe she can build a boat. She can certainly, screw on a bike light. And she likes to tinker. She wants to spend that extra time, right? She wants to know it's done right, not that she's just relying on, someone else doing it for her. Okay? So that Sarah believes she's capable. Now let's say you have Bike Light C. I'll make sure I didn't put this on here. So Bike Light C, right? You've got Bike Light A. It's less expensive. It mentions nothing about how easy or hard it is to install. Nothing about the pride of installation or, how you can. All you need is your toolbox, right? And you're a capable person. You can do this. Product B is more expensive by, I think we said 30%. It's like $5 more. Mentions how it's lickety-split simple. No installation required. Just snap it on. Let's say product C says, this is going to take you 25 minutes, but it's the best darn bike light, and people are going to know when you're riding down the road that you installed this and you're a pro and you're a do-it-yourselfer and you're the kind of person who conquers the world, right? Sounds silly, but deep down, that's Sarah's identity. Sarah's going to spend $10 extra, which is 50% higher than Bike Light A, to buy Bike Light C because that triggers her identity, right? If we can push those hot buttons, that's one of her hot buttons. If we can push those hot buttons, people pay more. So, logical level number 5, pardon me here, environment. And this is more about what would stop them. So capabilities are about what would help them or what would stop them. Environment's more about what would stop them from successfully achieving results with your product. Environment is one of our biggest objections. Pardon me. So this is a great way to do this is to visualize your friend persona as they're going about their daily lives, right? Where would they use your product? Okay. You have to go and say, let's see here. Let's say you're selling a pan, right? Or tea kettle. Actually, I did a tea kettle yesterday that was really awesome. So let's say you're selling a tea kettle, right? Let's say this person has teenagers who like to have tea and they're purchasing a tea kettle they can all safely use, but safety is a huge thing. In that teenage environment, you're going to want a tea kettle that doesn't require your teenager to grab a hot pad before you pull it off the stove, right? Before you pull it off the heat. So this particular person, let's say her name is Annie. Annie's environment becomes an objection to any tea kettle where you need to take an extra step to provide safety. Okay, so if you have a tea kettle that you're selling Annie, Annie sees two tea kettles. One of them is $10. One of them, actually, they're usually more expensive. One of them is $20. One of them is $30, right? So, the $20 one doesn't have a safety handle on it. You have to use a hot pad or there's risk of burning steam. There's risk to her and her children, specifically to her children, her teenagers. Then product B has all these great safety features, and it's, it prevents steam burn. It prevents, hand burn from the handle. It automatically, let's say it automatically shuts off if it's an electronic one after 10 minutes so nobody gets burned, right? So Annie's more likely to buy the other product that's more expensive because she cares about her family's safety and she doesn't trust that her kids are going to remember to grab a heating pad. Okay, let's talk about other things in your environment that might be something to look at. So what about if you're selling a let's see here. Let's go back to tea kettle. Let's say that you have a minimalist kitchen, right? And you don't want anything flashy to mess up your minimalist kitchen. You don't want to talk about how this is going to be the flashiest, fanciest thing, the eye catcher, the most gorgeous thing in your kitchen if you're speaking to a minimalist, right? If your person is minimalist, they want a simple tea kettle that is highly functional and will last a long time because, gosh bless it, they only want to own 100 things. So we better focus on that, right? Versus somebody else who has a gorgeous kitchen. They've dropped $50,000 into, crystal or granite countertops or marble countertops and marble floors or, travertine tile, which was, I don't know if that's still a thing. It was a thing a couple of years ago, remember. They've dropped it, into these high-end cabinets and this beautiful door and these incredible lighting fixtures. They've dropped $50,000 on their kitchen. They will spend more money on a tea kettle that is going to be the eyepiece and, the eye catcher in their kitchen. The center of their kitchen is going to up-level their kitchen. It is going to beautifully, match their decor. It's going to, you want to focus on that. Their environment, their kitchen, then becomes an issue. What is their kitchen like? Are you speaking to people who have a high-end kitchen or people who are minimalists? And you'll know that by looking at what they care about on the audience insights, right? So if you're looking back at your demographics, another one for this is the environment of replacing the product. So, money, their financial ability to provide it falls into two categories. It falls into belief and it falls into environment. It also falls into identity, as whether or not they think they're wealthy, upper middle class, lower middle class, lower class, in poverty, etc. We don't tend to see a lot of people in poverty shopping on Amazon. It tends to be middle class and up. So, are these people low to mid income or mid income, but they believe it'll be cost prohibitive to buy a replacement part for the product, right? We need to overcome that by saying, even if you had to buy 10 replacement parts, this is still the best value you're going to get. Or by saying, this is tank tough, right? This is a tank durable product. You'll never have to replace it. We've backed it with a lifetime warranty. We'll replace it at any time. Or do they have small children and they're worried about choking hazards, little pieces coming off, right? If you go to the tea kettle, are they going to be looking at that saying, that little thing on top there it looks really small, and if that falls off, my kid's going to choke, right? My kid's going to eat it, they're going to choke. So you have to overcome that. Children are part of environment. Their office is part of an environment. If you're selling let's say you sell storage containers, okay? What is they're looking for in a storage container? It sounds so simple and so mundane, but do they need to make sure that storage container is locking and, so that it doesn't make a mess as it's jostled around in the office fridge? Do they need to make sure that storage container is 100% sealed and airtight? It's 100% sealed so that when they put it in their briefcase, or in their lunchbox, it doesn't spill all over the place? Do they need to make sure that it's airtight? So when they put it in their fridge at home or their office fridge, it doesn't pick up everybody else's weird smells if they leave it in there for a day or two. Do they need to make sure it's microwavable because they like to heat things up? Do they need to make sure that it keeps things hot? Are they looking for a storage container that keeps things hot because there's not an office in their microwave or a microwave in their office, right? They don't have access to a way to reheat this. So that's something to consider for your products. What environment are they going to be using it in, and how will they be using it? And that helps you to pick out the benefits and the features that you should really focus on, because a lot of products have, 50 benefits and 15 features. You cannot fit that all into bullet points. You just can't. You can hardly fit that all into a description and do well, unless you're doing just benefit, comma, benefit, comma, benefit, comma, benefit, comma, or feature, comma, feature, comma, feature, comma, feature, comma, in which case people won't read it. And you need people to read this, right? So look at their environment and ask yourself, how are they going to be using this within their home, their office, their car, on their bike, and what's going to prevent them from having the outcome they desire? So if you haven't already, I want you to go back through and follow through this training and create an ideal customer persona. The best friend that you're speaking to at a bar and you're going to, pitch your product to solve their problem. Or the best friend you're speaking to at a coffee shop. And remember to, let me know if you have any questions. I know that for a lot of people, this is really deep level marketing knowledge. And so if you have any questions, please just let me know. Thanks so much.